From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, June the 24th, 2022. Two police officers guarding a synagogue in Tunisia were attacked with a knife overnight last night. The assailant said to have been previously jailed in a terrorism case. He came at the officers who were standing guard outside the Grand Synagogue of Tunis, lightly wounding them before they were able to subdue him. An investigation is underway. The United Nations Human Rights Office released its report on the death of veteran Palestinian Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh last month, claiming that the bullet that hit Abu Akleh came from Israeli security forces and not from indiscriminate fire by armed Palestinians. The IDF firmly rejected the report and once again asked the Palestinians to hand over the bullet in order to properly conduct its investigation. The IDF today tweeting following the biased investigations into the death of Abu Akleh, the IDF again offers the Palestinians to pass or hand over the bullet, something the Palestinians have continued to refuse to do. The IDF reiterated that if Abu Akleh was hit by Israeli fire, it was inadvertent and absolutely not intentional. Tweeting, the IDF regrets harming the uninvolved and takes great care to ensure freedom of movement and the press. Israel's Minister of Defense, Benny Gantz, expressed his condolences once again for Abu Akleh, tweeting, her loved ones deserve the truth, which may only be uncovered via a thorough forensic investigation and not through unfounded reports, such as the one published by the UN High Commissioner. A follow-up now for you on the so-called mapping project, an initiative of BDS Boston, the city's local boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign that seeks to delegitimize the state of Israel, which listed names and addresses of Jewish institutions and organizations, as well as non-Jewish groups in Boston that it accuses of promoting the quote-unquote colonization of Palestine and tying it to such things as racism, policing, and gentrification in the city, so that it can dismantle these institutions. The leaders of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Diane Laub, William Daroff, and Malcolm Hoenlein, wrote today that the conference strongly supports a letter sent this week from 37 bipartisan members of Congress calling for a federal inquiry into the dissemination of the mapping project, which they wrote is part of an effort to track, target, intimidate, and deliberately do harm to the Boston Jewish community, saying the map reinforces dangerous anti-Semitic tropes historically used as the basis for violence against Jews, particularly egregious as anti-Semitic incidents reach record levels across the country. And in what is being hailed as a victory against the BDS movement, a U.S. federal appeals court upheld anti-BDS laws this week. The JTA reports that the St. Louis-based U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit found on Wednesday that the laws, which require public contractors to commit to not boycotting Israel, do not violate free speech. 34 states across the U.S. have already adopted these laws. Well, Israel is sending help to Cyprus and to Afghanistan in the wake of devastating situations there. The IDF shared yesterday that a delegation from the Israeli Fire and Rescue Services flew to Cyprus on Israeli Air Force aircraft to assist in firefighting efforts in the north of the country. And Israeli nonprofit IsraAid is sending humanitarian aid, including essential medical supplies, to Afghanistan in the wake of a massive earthquake there this week that killed over 1,000 people. CEO Yotam Politzer said, at IsraAid, we are committed to responding to humanitarian crisis worldwide wherever they occur. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, June the 24th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services at the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, it's Cantor Sol Zim in concert. At 9, the film Hate Among Us with unique perspectives on anti-Semitism. At 10:30, a replay from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, it's a look at this week's Torah Portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, June the 24th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. I will be away Monday and Tuesday. Micah Halpern will be filling in. Stay healthy, stay well, and Shabbat Shalom.